He's a director, he's a writer, Arnie's on her phone, and he's
Busted.
and he's an old friend of mine, and he's back on the couch. A new couch, though.
Yeah, no, it's new.
A new couch. Adam Newman, great to have you back.
Hey,
man.
thank you guys for having me. Thanks so much.
Good to have you back. So you got a lot of stuff going on right now. Ice Patrol and Nomad.
Yep. I think the last time that I came in, we talked about Scarlet K. I had just.
Yes.
And we actually have an update from a couple days ago. We got accepted into a film festival.
Good. That's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah, which is really exciting.
Awards.
Yeah, exactly. It means nothing. We got into the Sanford International Film Festival, which is in Sanford, Maine, which is actually where we shot Ice Patrol, which is kind of neat. So that's for Scarlet K, and also a film that I was the assistant director on called Adult ADR is playing there too. So it's going to be kind of cool to get everybody there at that film fest. Then we just did. I've been so busy since I last came in.
Yeah.
Ice Patrol is the trailer you guys just watched.
That trailer
and
looks great.
Thank you so much. That we just premiered that back on the 18th of July, so it's pretty fresh, which was really exciting. And then after that, we had a fundraiser for our next film, Carolina Shag, in which we premiered our film, Nomad. So a lot of stuff kind of happening at once. We shot Scarlet K 3.5 years ago. We shot Ice Patrol 3 years ago, and we shot Nomad 2 years ago. I'm not good at post-production. So we were but we finally able to get them all kind of together in the same 9-month span, which is actually kind of exciting.
So it looks like you're ultra productive, but you're really just pretty good at this point.
No, super unproductive, but we're finally able. I breeze
Dude, you
through
did like 3
pre-production.
films in no time.
Yeah, and everybody gets excited about it. We kind of like the idea that we were dropping all 3 at once, and all 3 of them are so different tonally. So our first one is kind of a dark comedy, and then Ice Patrol, which you just saw, despite the fact that we saw a lot of tense moments in it, it is actually a quiet family drama that is about crime that has moments of explosive tension.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then Nomad is a lot more psychological. It's even quieter, and it's kind of a post-apocalyptic fantasy, but is more focused on the tensions within a house. So it's kind of cool to show all 3 of these movies, just to show the range that both myself and the crew do have.
Yeah. Now, so they're both Ice Patrol and Nomad are both short films.
No, Ice Patrol is long. It's 100 minutes long.
Okay.
Yeah, which we shot for $2,000, $3,000, or whatever it is. And then Nomad is where I broke the bank, and I just dumped in $8,000 in order to make it. Yeah. And that is a 24-minute film. So yeah, it's a little bit different.
Where did most of that budget, if you don't mind me asking?
No, sure, I'd love to talk about it.
Where did most of that budget go into?
For food, first of all.
Yeah.
You've got to feed the actors. Big time was the lodging of them for the 4 days. But the biggest expense, without a doubt, was the build. So for this movie, we built a farmhouse. So we had this old broken down foundation, which my production designer showed me.
How big a house was this?
Well, we built parts of it. It's
Right.
really strange how we kind of went about it. He showed me this old broken down foundation, just 2 walls in the middle of the woods. And he said, check this out. And I said, not a chance. He goes, no. And he explained it to me, how he's going to build 2 walls and build a staircase, and then we're going to roof it off. And I said, all right, whatever it takes. And then he told me how much money it was going to take. And it got a little more painful, but I really trust my production designer. He's incredibly talented. His name's Adam Nicole. And he actually does all of the sets over at the Palace Theater in Manchester.
Okay.
He's working to become the lead carpenter over there. So most of it was building that set. So we built a basement there, and then we also were lucky enough to meet this guy named Sean Ward, who owns was running at the time a historical building that was, it's kind of this old big barn, and we built inside of it. We built a house.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's fun. Like that to me is like that sounds like so much fun. You get to build a set and play on it.
Yeah, no,
It
It was the first time I really thought, oh my God, we're on a movie. We're actually making a movie, and then when you see it, and of course the movies are lies, and so all the little things that don't look right, but when you watch it, finally, when we premiered it in front of a large audience, they have no idea, and it's really exciting to see where the budget went and things like. It feels like a real movie.
Now, that was Nomad, you said, right?
That was Nomad, yeah.
Yeah. Where did you shoot that?
So we shot it in Topsfield, was where we built the inside of the barn, and then we shot the rest of it in Epping, I believe, which was just we knew a family friend of the production designer, and there was just this property in the middle of the woods, and we went back about a mile, and there was the broken down foundation that used to be a building, and we ended up shooting there.
Yeah, you talked about lodging. Was a lot of the actors coming from out of town?
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing is I think I talked about how I force my actors to work the most ridiculous hours most of the time.
Yeah.
So we typically
Every director does. We just are not always honest about it. Like it'll take us about 4 hours.
Right, and we typically
wrap
are doing,
up.
Yeah. It takes 4 hours to break down. We work 16 to 20 hour days, so you know it's one of those things where we had a house nearby, which takes a lot of begging and pleading to an Airbnb to say, hey, I know that you want that for $10,000. How about $1,500?
Wow.
Does that work? You know, and that's kind of what ends
sort of in the ballpark of.
And it's amazing how much you
20%.
can actually get done when you're just asking people. Because in that situation, they said, you know what, nobody's here, so we'll take some money, and we just packed everybody into rooms, and we just wanted to be close by, so that in a situation where we were finishing up late, as we always were, we could just truck back 15 minutes, all crash, and then so we could get up again early the next morning and get back to work.
Yeah, that's a really fun way to do it, because we shot a film we did called The Man Who Wasn't Tex McGrew,
Sure.
which is this 1940 slapstick comedy. We shot up in a place called Dummer, New Hampshire. Do you know where it is?
I don't.
Even people who live there don't know where it is. All right, so it is like, you know how far Berlin, New Hampshire is?
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's further than that.
Oh, geez, okay, you're really up there.
All
Yeah.
right. And
Canada,
so,
you mean?
Right, pretty much,
okay, gotcha.
yes, you know. And so we were shooting, the bulk of the film took place there. It was a huge house that was a set. And so most of the crew just slept in the house because there was tons of rooms, and people who let us just said, you guys can just live here for the weekends.
You are exactly explaining Ice Patrol. Ice Patrol, all the house that you see there is this giant house that my friend from middle school owned, you know, and he goes out to sea all the time because he's a merchant marine. And he goes, hey, I got this huge house. Would you guys like to film there? I say, yeah, you kind of write around what you have when you have a budget, you know, and so
will this work? It will now.
Yeah. I think I got a movie now. Yeah. And so we ended up all crashing. And you know what? I kind of almost prefer it to a certain degree, because Ice Patrol is, it's a high that I'll never, ever reach again. Yeah. It's something I'm going to chase for the rest of my life, because it was such a bizarre experience that, first of all, you're working these stupidly long hours, and everybody's frustrated, and they're falling asleep, you know, between takes, and yet it kind of creates this community among everybody, and so you hate each other. Oh my God, you hate each other by the end of the night, as it's 4 o'clock, and I really want to try this oneer, and everybody wants to kill you, but then you wake up 3 hours later, and you just get back to it, and there's almost this trial by fire where everybody goes, oh, we fought through it together, and now we're kind of, you feel like a family.
We were in the trenches. The trenches really stunk.
Yeah, right.
We are a family.
Right, and it's amazing how in nostalgia, you kind of just wipe away the bad stuff, and you just think about, oh my God, that moment.
Because 85% of the films, 85% of the process of making film is a pain in the ass.
No, it's 99%. No, almost all of it is the worst thing that's ever happened, and then there's the 1% that every now and then is okay.
That is so true.
But it's amazing how your mind, when you're replaying it, we have this, all of our bodies have this great way of forgetting pain.
Yes.
And so you just remember that 1% where, you know, you were on set and it was 4 a.m. and all of a sudden some actor for some reason was able to channel something at that moment, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, that's why I make movies. It was for that one look that one actor gave at that one moment, you know, after working 21 hours, you know, and that's when you go, okay, I'll get up and do it again.
There's always one point in the filming where I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Like, I'm just never doing this again.
Same
Once
here.
I wrap this up. And then every time when we're driving away, I'm like, oh, we're totally doing this again.
And then there's this amazing thing with Ice Patrol, right? We would do 4 days on, and then 4 days off, and then 4 days on. And those 4 days off are the most depressing 4 days you've ever felt. Yeah, it's where you just feel sick because you're not on set. And then the months afterwards, once you're done filming,
we shot the dinner party in 4 days, and 118,
insane,
20 pages.
by the way.
It was insane, yes. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
It came out great.
It came out great.
Came out great.
It came out great. We're very proud of it. More surprised than anything else, you know. So we were talking, it wasn't insane days. It was 12, 11, 13-hour days, or something like that.
Very generous people.
Right. That was the way it worked. And So we were done, and we kept getting message after message from the crew. We thought they're going to hate our guts.
Right.
Because we've just yelled at them for the past 48 hours, you know?
We dressed them up
Absolutely.
in three-piece suits
Right.
and put them in a place without air conditioning.
Yes, you know,
in July.
but we all missed that,
Oh, God.
that we were there,
Yeah.
you know? And it's just,
The process is almost, I love ideas and I love the story process. I love when because that's when it's the purest, you know,
Yeah.
and when nothing is going wrong. Everything feels like it's the greatest idea you've ever had.
yeah.
And then
If
of
you
course
were
that,
high.
yeah. Well, and of course it slowly gets whittled away, but then there's when you're on set. and
Filmmaking is
that
actually fun,
feeling-
guys. Just so you know, if we're making it out to sound like it's not actually fun, it is. You do want to work with us. Like it is an enjoyable.
No, but I typically do advise people. I say, like, if you can do anything else, you could do anything else, do it.
Yes.
Just please do it, because it is a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as it looks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, once
If
again.
bowling is going to float your boat, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. right, exactly. So after, I kind of got off track, of course. But during the fundraiser, which we just had for our next movie coming up, which is Carolina Shag, which is the big thing that we want to talk about for sure. We're filming it November 5th through 7th and November 12th through 14th. We have 5 days of rehearsal, or 6 days of rehearsal before that. We're shooting it out in Topsfield again in a different location, but a similar place where we are once again building a set because we're insane. We just had a fundraiser, and each production we're trying to get better and better. I assume everybody's trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
But
we were talking about that before the show.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
always, you're just trying things, but eventually you start getting really confident in the crew that you have around you.
Yeah.
And every movie, I feel like we're exponentially looking better and getting a better feel for story and all that stuff. So we had this fundraiser, and our goal is pretty far-fetched for independent filmmakers. I mean, we're searching for $50,000
Wow.
for this short, but for a short too.
For short,
For
yeah.
a short, but we made $20,000 from our fundraiser, which was absolutely huge. That's we made $5,000 off of our silent auction. We made over $10,000 in ticket sales, and then we've made another $4,000 and change for.
Stick around. We got to ask you some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been absolutely insane. But I made this. You know, Ice Patrol. We made Shoestring. Scarlet K was just to learn as much as we possibly could. Nomad was where I said, okay, I'm just going broke. I'm putting everything I make that I don't have for living expenses into this. And I made something. I said, oh, this is worth something. This is really good. And then with this Carolina Shag, I'm saying, no, this is going to be our jobs. This is how we have to make it into being filmmakers.
Hey, I'm sorry. We got to cut you off.
Oh, sure.
But I will say this, right, we have a note that says Ice Patrol was great from our social media guy, right?
Ryan worked on it, and he's a great dude.
Anyways, Adam, this flew by way too quick.
Yeah, it always does.
All right,
Yeah.
yes, and we've got to have you back on the show so soon. We got to have we talked about this before, I'm going to make an announcement right now. We talked about a Star Wars debate, having like, instead of a
please
political
do.
debate, we have a Star Wars debate.
Yeah, bring it on.
All right, and so,
Boom, yeah.
yes, all right, so we will be
The
setting
Last
up-
Jedi is the best Star Wars movie, and it's not
Oh,
close.
it's so on. It is
Leave
so
that.
on.
I'll leave
All right,
that.
this is going to be fun. All right, Adam Newman, but it did happen, productions.com. Go check them out. Ice Patrol Nomad, we dropped the link for Ice Patrol in here. I don't know why the volume's going on the TV. I apologize. But when we come back, we will have Trailer Trash. We'll be right back.